The military does not make you better. You do. The uniform, it doesn't erase your past, it doesn't build your discipline, it doesn't even hand you purpose. And if you show up with nothing but ego, excuses, and entitlement, you'll probably leave with just those. But if you show up with something deeper, and maybe, just maybe, you become the one everyone else remembers. And I know this because I've seen it myself when I was a recruiter. I put hundreds of people into the Air Force. As a matter of fact, I put a couple of special warfare people in, and I've watched them try to make it through. But the only person that I ever saw make it through the actual PJ school, he was arguably the most underqualified person that I put into the Air Force. If you looked at him on paper, he should have never been allowed to join. He had a felony, he had a DUI, he had 2 marijuana charges, and he came in 4 years removed from his last offense, but he was broken, he was desperate, he was honest. He didn't even try to hide who he was. He came in saying, I need redemption. I don't need a job. I don't need a uniform. I need a second chance. I need to earn back who I am, who I'm supposed to be. And I feel like PJ would be the best way possible for me to do that. And that kind of stopped me from judging him, because normally I would tell somebody with his record to be like, hey bro, I'm sorry. But because I saw it in his eyes, I could tell that he really wanted to get that second chance to redeem himself. And I know what this feels like, because me, myself, if y'all know my story, I needed that second chance as well. So I asked him straight. I was like, can you swim? What's your run time? How many push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups can you do? And his numbers at that time, they were decent, but I told him, I was like, look, I go to bat for you, but I don't need you to just meet the standard. I need you to break it. You give me a reason to put my name on this line and I'll do it, but you got 30 days. So he trained himself like his life depended on it, because it actually did. And a month later, he had scores that were some of the highest in the country at that time for special warfare to get a contract. So I ended up getting him the waiver. We got him in basic, and the rest was history. He made it through PJ school, and he became part of the 0.1% of the Air Force that is a PJ. Do y'all know that the pararescue school has a 90% attrition rate? So what that means is that out of the 100 people who try, only 10 or so actually make it through the actual training. And here's what I learned. It's not the strongest to make it through. It's the ones who have something burning inside their chest. My guy wasn't chasing a paycheck. He wasn't trying to be cool. He was trying to prove to himself and the world that he was more than just his worst mistakes. Because everywhere he went, his past followed him. Employers, they tossed out his resume. The landlords, they judged him based off of his record. Basically, the system reminded him of who he was everywhere he went. He couldn't run from it, so he had to run through it. And you don't need a perfect pass. You don't need a real reason to join. That's the part that people don't understand. It's not about showing up perfect. It's about showing up ready to change. If you're watching this and you know you've been lazy, inconsistent, disrespectful to your own potential, I'm not here to judge you. I'm just here to tell you that you can change. But it starts with the reason deeper than money, structure, or getting away. You got to want some type of redemption. You got to want to do something for yourself, not from the world, but you got to want to do it for yourself. I see a lot of people join and they say they're going to become a better version of themselves. They say they're going to become the best version of themselves. And when they get to basic training, they actually do, because basic training, it forces you to become a better version of yourself. It's like a pressure chamber, right? But then after you graduate, it's up to you. You got to put that work in. And so what happens is people start hanging out with the wrong people. They start hanging out with people who are already jaded, and they start letting them influence them in their decisions and their opinions on how they feel about the military. So you start hanging around all these jaded people, and they start making you think that the military maybe isn't that good of a thing, or maybe you chose wrong, or maybe you could do better. And now, instead of you actually working on yourself, all you're doing is sitting around complaining and sitting in this jaded crowd talking about how bad the military is. So if you don't come in already in the mindset that you're going to be better, or you already working on it prior to joining, it's not going to work when you join. It just don't work like that. It's on you. Look, y'all, the military is the platform. It's a forge, it's a pressure chamber, but it's not a savior. If you walk in thinking that basic training is going to just wipe away all of your flaws, or that the discipline is just going to magically appear when you put on some uniform, you're going to be disappointed. But if you walk in with your mind already set, if you walk in already becoming the person who's accountable, resilient, and done running from themselves, then you'll grow. You'll get sharper. You'll get stronger, but only because you chose to. Like I said, You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have the clean past. You don't need to be the strongest, the fastest, the smartest, but you do need to be honest. You need to be honest about who you've been. You need to be honest about who you're running from. And you need to be honest about what you're willing to do to become better. My guy who made it through the PJ school, he didn't just do it because he was built for it. He did it because he decided every day that the old version of himself wasn't allowed to win anymore. And y'all got the same choice right now. So what are you gonna do? Stop waiting on the magic button that's gonna make you better. It starts with you. But if you already know how you're gonna make yourself better, you just don't know if you're gonna make yourself better by joining the enlisted route or the commission route, I got a video on the screen right now that'll break down the difference between both. But like I always say, I hope this video brought value to you. Stay beautiful, stay classy, and until next time, check me out.